Right, it's perfect timing to be back for this one because Rob Edwards has been appointed the Middlesbrough manager. I don't know what to say about this one, but I'm going to give it a go.
So let's not take the piss here.
Long-term listeners of the channel will know I I think Rob Edwards is an absolute fraud of a manager. Middlesbrough fans tuning in won't want to hear me say Rob Edwards is a massive fraud, but I will be putting money on Middlesbrough to get relegated this season.
That's it.
There is no doubt Rob Edwards oversaw one of the greatest days in my life. I am a Luton Town fan, but the reality is he was so far out of his step. The players looked unfit. The system didn't work. And those things, they didn't carry on at Luton because he came in to a club on the up. Nathan Jones had left. He had a well-drilled, very fit team. But now Rob Edwards comes in at Middlesbrough. And one thing that every Luton Town fan knows was that our pre-season was an absolute shambles under Rob Edwards. The football is one-dimensional, and it's an interesting appointment. It really is. I honestly think he won't do well, but hey, I'm going to start this one off by actually reading the press release from Middlesbrough. I normally do this a little bit later, but I haven't read this yet. So this is the first time I've read it. Middlesbrough Football Club are delighted to announce the appointment of Rob Edwards as our new coach, a Premier League promotion winner. He joins the club on a 3-year contract and is joined in the dugout by Adi Vivaesh and Harry Watling. So right off the bat there, Rob Edwards, well, Richie Carl's at Bolton. And Richie Carl is normally his number 2. He's brought in Adi Vivaesh, who, this is interesting. Adi Vivaesh, as soon as he left Coventry and Mark Robins sort of went off a cliff, didn't they? So it is certainly a very, very interesting possibility of what Adi Vivaesh can do. Hopefully he can prop up Rob Edwards the same way he seemingly propped up Mark Robins. And that could ultimately mean that Rob Edwards isn't as much of a failure as I'm anticipating him to be. Rob brings a wealth of experience, having led Luton Town to the top flight during his first season at the club, and he followed that by managing the Hatters in the Premier League. Well, this is just PR, isn't it? Yeah, he managed Luton in the Premier League, and the less said, the less said about the following season, where he had actually implemented his style of football. The less said, the better. Am I right? The 42-year-old's previous management experience came with Forest Green Rovers, where he led the club to League One for the first time in their history, and he had a short spell at Watford before leading Luton to a remarkable promotion in 2023. They can't get enough of that promotion, can they? They're going to keep waxing lyrical about it. AD is a vastly experienced coach, having spent 7 years as Coventry City's assistant manager, a period which included 2 promotions and 9 years coaching with Chelsea's academy. Harry is another highly rated coach who has worked at the likes of Chelsea, Millwall, West Ham, QPR and Rangers. Boro's head of football, Kieran Scott, said, Rob is someone who I've been aware of for a long time and I followed his development as a coach closely. He made history at Forest Green Rovers, and to win promotion to the Premier League with Luton was a fantastic achievement. We had an exciting pool of candidates for this role, but we felt Rob was the standout and we were very impressed upon meeting him and listening to him talk about his vision for the club. Well, that's the thing about Rob Edwards. He is an incredibly charming character. And he beat out other people at Luton Town because once you meet him and you get lost in the eyes, you get lost in the teeth, you get lost in the smolder. then essentially he's yours. He can win you over. He oozes charisma. And he doesn't get held to the same standards as everyone else. The proof is in the pudding of how it went last year. Tactically inflexible. Late substitutions. No plan B. So he's gone in and he's obviously just dazzled them. Which is fine, you know? That's what job interviews are for. But the point is, you have to back up what you say in a job interview and actually do it. You have to hit the ground running, smash it out. And he did that at Luton. But in reality, he did say, I didn't change much. And the thing was, if you look back, and I've said it so many times on our channel, if you look back, the sliding doors moment was that Brighton 4-0 win. Luton Town beat Brighton 4-0, and Rob Edwards thought, I've cracked this. Football's easy. And then he just did the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And it got figured out essentially 45 minutes later against Newcastle. We're leading 4-2 and then we drew 4-all. And his entire time at Luton was encapsulated. The tactical inflexibility of Rob Edwards was encapsulated. Luton Town were leading 3-0 at half-time against Bournemouth. Made history. They became the first team to be leading 3-0 at half-time and lose a game 4-3. Now, anyone could have looked at that game and thought, okay, we're 3-0 up. We don't deserve it. But what are the other team going to do? Are they going to sit back and just take the 3-0 loss? No! They're going to come out and they're going to attack. So what does Rob do? He does nothing. He did nothing at half-time. And yes, I know there are emotional connotations with Bournemouth, but you make changes. You change the formation. You solidify it in midfield. You see if any player is absolutely knackered. I still remember, it's seared into my brain. Daiki Hashioka, who had a torrid time, a torrid second half. He came off in that game and he looked like he'd run 15 marathons back to back. He looked exhausted. And that is a change that should have been made prior to the shit hitting the fan, which it did. But that encapsulates Rob Edwards' time at Luton Town. Throwing away a lead like that. And there are other hallmarks of Rob Edwards' isms and Luton Town failures. And that is the entirety of the championship season. Now, some of that, you know, it's down to the board. The board should have sacked him a bit earlier. He looked like he was completely emotionally drained. And that is absolutely fine. That can happen. You know, a lot had happened at Luton Town with the collapse of Tom Lockyer, which really hit Rob hard. But regardless of the emotional connotations, you can't not look at the tactical inflexibility that Rob did throughout his entire time. Now, this could be completely different. No Richie Kyle, no Paul Trollope. He's changed it up. And sometimes changing it up can be the difference. And Adi Vivaesh is very highly rated. So it genuinely could be an absolute masterstroke. Right, I haven't finished this yet. We're excited that Rob has agreed to join us and we're looking forward to the future. Rob cut his teeth on the coaching front of Wolves, where he was the under-18 coach and the under-21s coach. He also coached England under-20s and England under-16s. As a player, Rob made 250 appearances, starting his career in the Premier League with Aston Villa, a former Welsh international centre-back. He clocked up a century of appearances for Wolves and captained Blackpool on their journey to the Premier League. Rob Edwards says it's a real privilege to be given the opportunity to be head coach of this great football club. It's something that's not lost on me how big this is, how important this is, and what it means to the people. There is an amazing fan base. Well, that's just something that you say every single time you join a club. Is it not? Pretty sure it is. He said the same thing at Watford. Said the same thing at Luton. He probably said the same thing at Forest Green. It's all lies, isn't it? It's all lies. Right. It felt instantly that this was right for me and it got me excited. If I was going to come back in, I wanted to come back in at a place where we had a chance, where we have a really good chance here. We have a brilliant owner who historically gives coaches time, support, and the tools needed to try and be successful. I can't wait to get started now. Ooh, so that last comment there is a very veiled comment. It's a bit weird, isn't it? So the one thing he was given was time. He was given a lot of time, but it's debated about whether he was given the backing that he needed at Luton Town. Now, a big loss was Ross Barkley, and I would say that Luton Town's summer business was pretty poor. The January business, going even further back, just bringing in Tom Holmes, loading him back, and Daiki Hashioka was also ridiculously poor. That is something that we discussed many times ad infinitum. But here, he will get the backing at Middlesbrough. Steve Gibson, I think it's Steve Gibson. Yeah, Ben Gibson is the son. Yeah, Steve Gibson, he's a very good owner. He's been there donkey's years. He's put them in a new stadium. He's always underwritten the cost of every single loss that Middlesbrough have had. And he will back them. He will back the team. However, if Rob starts to fail and you see the same hallmarks that there were at Luton Town, as in the tactical inflexibility, massive gaps in the middle of the park, I don't think Steve Gibson will hesitate to pull the trigger. Now, we need to see what Adi Vivaesh brings to the table. But ultimately, Rob Edwards, he'll bring the love. That's what I can say. He'll bring the love.
He's the best. Love it.
Right. Middlesbrough fans, let me know. What do you think about Rob Edwards being appointed manager? Are you happy? Are you worried? Do you think he's going to be a success? Do you think he's going to be a failure? Let me know in the comments below, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great week. And wherever you are, take it easy.